how this began?
I've been following what he's been saying publicly and what he stands for. And I reached out to a friend of mine who knew him, and I said, I want to meet this guy. And we met over dinner in January, right before the Oscars, before he won his Oscar. And it was clear, I think, that evening that we saw things in a similar fashion in terms of trying to create opportunities for young kids who otherwise would not have a voice. And I think it's very rare that you meet somebody in person that exceeds the expectations of the reputation. And I'm here to tell you, this guy does. So it's an honor for me to be sitting here with him and for having him here today at the opening of this event. He has a unique position in the country. He's trusted by lots of different people and many different constituencies. And him being here and speaking to these kids today will have huge impact, not as a celebrity, but as a Chicago born and bred person who knows exactly what it's like to have been in that audience.
This is about the future and the trajectory of this nation, right?
Yes, opportunities are the future. Creating opportunities for young people will create a better world for everybody. And not only just the economy, but we're talking about creating better opportunities for their lives, where, you know, a job and an opportunity gives a person hope. It gives them something concrete to be able to make a living. It helps them to succeed in like being able to provide for their families.
You grew up here in Chicago. You have your foundation called Common Ground. What's your goal?
My goal, and I believe our goal, is to provide young people who don't have hope, to give them not only hope, but to give them something that's concrete, something that they can move forward in their lives that will better their lives, to make this country better by creating a better future for the young people. I think Howard and I, as you said, this is a unique combination. It really isn't, and it really is in many ways, because we represent America. You know, we represent America. What Howard has accomplished coming from where he's come from, what I've accomplished coming from where I come from, we still have work to do, but we're using our platforms to do great things out there and help create the change, the real change.
You bring up where he's from.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know you're born in Brooklyn. Not a lot of money at all, born poor in Brooklyn. When did you sort of make the turn that you started to go back to your roots?
I've said for many years that growing up in the projects imprinted me with both the motivation and the desire to exceed the expectations that perhaps my parents had in their own life. But at the same time, I've also said publicly that I had the scars and the vulnerability and the insecurity of being that poor kid.
Really? That still lives with you?
I still have that today. But I think here's the difference. When I grew up, the promise of America and the American dream wasn't just a slogan and words. It was aspirational, and you really felt as a young kid on the other side of the tracks that was available to you and you had hope. When I look at the situation now and I hear 5.6 million disconnected youth in the country, not in school, not working, mainly African American and Latino, I ask myself, does the American dream and the promise of America, is it as relevant and accessible to those kids right now as it was when I was coming up? And I think the sad answer is no. And that's why we're here today, to convene these companies, these nonprofits, the mayor of Chicago, and come together and say we can do something that can make a difference in the lives of these kids. The responsibility of business today is different than it was 20, 30 years ago. It can't only be about profit. We must give back to the communities we serve and our employees.